that first series. So maybe in some, comic football fans' eyes, you've gone from the lovable underdog to maybe a villain. Are you kind of prepared to maybe embrace the best of both of those worlds?
I'm just ready to play some football. I think we start here in August 30th, so first game. I don't know how many days that is. But I know we're really excited as a team to go out and compete. But we've been working towards this, and we have some big goals set in front of us.
Diego, what do you see as being the biggest differences going into this year compared to going into last year?
I think it's depth. And obviously, last year I felt like, it'd be good if we, won 3 games or something, and this year we have high aspirations. We got a new good-looking stadium, so some fans can come out. So we'll be excited for this year for sure. And offensively, East could talk for the defense, but we want to be pure fireworks. We were talking about DSSR and things like that and explosive plays, and so we want to be an offense that's hard to stop.
Coach Lee spoke, Diego, about kind of rejecting the public belief that Vanderbilt should know its place in college football. Does a lot of that outside noise fuel you, or how do you take kind of everything going on there?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just a born winner. You go look at every year I've ever played football. I'm gonna find a way to win. We're gonna find a way to win. And when it comes down to those thin margins, I think last year we're as close as 2-10 as we are 10-2, and so those thin margins where we need to win, we'll be just fine.
We talked to Richie Hoskins earlier today, and he talked a lot about sort of that walk-on mentality that he has, really fighting every day for his position on the field. What do you think about that, and sort of how do you sort of align with his beliefs, I guess?
Yeah, I'll tell you this about Richie. My brother came and watched camp, I think, for the first 3 days, and he called me out and he's like, "Man, I love that dude, Richie. He reminds me of where we're from, And I just think that goes to show that the belief I have in Richie as well, one-on-one. I told Richie this last year that the ball needed to go to him more, but obviously I didn't have enough time to build that chemistry with him. I had the most chemistry with Eli last year, but now that it's with everyone, it's going to be hard to stop our offense.
You've had 3-ish weeks now practicing against the defense. What stands out to you as where you think maybe they've improved the most?
I think we improved everywhere. I mean, you go to our D-line, linebackers. One thing I'll say about his linebackers, we're so deep. We're about 6 deep at linebacker where they could play anywhere in the country. Our D-line has some depth to it now. Obviously, we had some guys sitting out next to look good, and that's a good thing. And then, I think there's still competition that's going into who's going to be the starter out on the corners and the safeties. And so that's really exciting because you got to fight for your spot.
Diego, you've been a little limited in practice the last week. Is everything good health-wise? And, what do you think you get out of being more on the sidelines?
Oh, well, I want to take on, maybe when I'm done with, football is obviously going to come to an end, no matter if you're Tom Brady or if you're someone else. Football's going to come to an end. I think I want to be a coach when I'm done. And I think when you get to sit back and watch some players, you get to really help them. And obviously, I admire Blaze and what he does, and Drew too. But me and Blaze have built a connection. He's been with me for 3 years. And so when he steps on the field, I just try to help him kind of develop a certain way how to read a defense and what to look at. And so when he comes off, I just, try to help him with that and make him a better player.
Diego, we have a tight end in Eli who's probably got a pretty likely future in the NFL, which is partially your fault because you beat him out for the job. First of all, as a quarterback, what's your appreciation for his ability to go from being a quarterback to turning himself into an NFL level tight end? I mean, in a short amount of time, because I guess at New Mexico State, he wasn't even in the tight end room. He was still with you guys.
Yeah, I think he owes me some money for sure. But I believe Eli's a first-round tight end. He's the best tight end in the country. And that's not going off of hype or name or anything like that. That's going off of film. There's 2 things that don't lie: tape and numbers. You can watch that. Eli's the best in the country.
Issa, kind of talk a little about the defense this year, what to expect from your side.
I feel like this year we want to take a step as far as turnovers go, taking away the ball, giving our offense that has a lot of playmaking ability a chance to score points, and that's kind of what we've been focusing on through camp. So.
Coach Black is a coach. What does that mean to you? Who does he as a person?
Well, he knows too. Like they even go at it. Like Coach Black is gonna bring it every day. Like he has a saying. He says like every day is game day. Like today's opportunity is the only one you're promised. So like attacking it every day, and like he brings the juice every single day. Like you can't take a day off with him. Like he's gonna be on you 24/7, and that's why he's a great coach.
How much do you feel like the defensive line has more depth this year, and how important is that in kind of the gauntlet of the SEC schedule?
We've gotten a lot of like different additions. A lot of like athletic potential and guys who like know how to rush the passer, which is very exciting to us. So, that's been like a main area of focus to us as a defense, improving on third down, and I feel like we've taken major steps in that.
How close are you think, to getting back to practice? And then also, how different has this camp been for you, where now you're like an older guy who doesn't probably need as many reps as in the past?
Well, I like to take every rep I can, honestly, because I feel like I'm far from where I want to be as a player still. But it's been great just being able to like mentor a lot of the younger guys. It's our room always has had a lot of like 5th year, 6th years who like kind of taking the lead, and I've like enjoyed like getting to mentor those younger guys, and even the transfers who like have to learn our technique and our scheme and everything like that. So that's been great.
Diego, you've talked about your hamstring injury last year. What was the process like of recovering from that injury, and is there anything different you're doing this year to try to avoid something similar from happening?
Yeah, obviously I hurt my hamstring. I think it was after the Kentucky game. I think Deion Walker kind of hurt it, and then ever since then it was just never the same. I was never 100%. But that's SEC football. That's football anywhere you go. Some things that I did while I stayed in the training room between meetings, between practice, before practice, after practice, always in the training room. And then I picked up on some new remedies like that, LMNT stuff. I got some new water at my house that's a higher pH level. It's supposed to keep you hydrated more and absorbs your muscles faster. Did some stuff like that, dry needling, hydrobaric chamber. And so when you have all those accessories around you, I think it's beneficial for all of us.
The coaches mentioned that they want to limit the amount of hits that you take, especially early in the season. But you're not a guy that likes to shy away from hits. So how hard is that going to be for you to take on?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I'm just trying to think when's the right time to take hits, I guess. But whenever the game's on the line, it's like I don't even think about that stuff. It's take as many hits as it is to go in the football game.
Diego, what is it that you've maybe tried to work on your game to improve going into this season? Anything particularly?
Yeah, I'll say this. One was, being better in the training room and not getting injured. And then 2, you go look at my first 6 games, I was getting the ball out faster. Receivers had high completion percentage. And then once I got hurt, my numbers kind of fell off, and the receivers' numbers kind of fell off. And that's due to me. And so I got to find a way to just get them the ball. One thing I worked on was my feet this year, and just slowing down my mind, speeding up my feet, and just getting the playmakers the ball.
Diego, you took to court a case for you to come back here. You wanted to come back to Vanderbilt. Eli makes a decision. I'm going to skip the NFL draft, even though I'm probably going to get drafted. I want to come back here. Vanderbilt hasn't really had. Vanderbilt usually has players who want to leave. You guys seem to be changing that culture. What about? Do you feel that that's the case, and why do you think that is?
One, I think it starts off with Coach Lee, something that he has in store for us. The guy's been doubted ever since he became a head coach here. People have wanted him out the building and things like that. But, I feel for that dude, because I was someone who wasn't basically wanted in the building. And so when I had the chance to come back and finally, the court ruled in my favor, it was a no-brainer to come back to Vanderbilt. Obviously, 1, because of Coach Lee, but 2, because the teammates in the locker room. Like, we started something, we're so hungry, I'm so close to those guys. I want to finish something that I started. And not saying but like the team of 2024.
And Eli's included, and obviously a player of his caliber coming back and, skipping his first chance of playing the NFL says a lot about the changes that you guys have the culture change you guys made in the program.
Yeah, for sure. I don't. Eli's obviously NFL talent, but I believe we have a lot of NFL talent on this team. this year, including Issa. You go ask scouts about Issa, they love him, and so super thankful that he's on the team too. But that's a lot of defensive guys. Jordan White, who came in, he's jumped off the map for us. So we got guys like that. Bryce Henderson. We have so much talent. We just got to put it on tape this year.
Issa, what's it like going up against Diego in the offense in practice? Where have you seen the offense get better from last year?
I feel like in general we got a lot of new pieces, and Diego's mentality is kind of like contagious. Like the certain edge he brings. Like, y'all know his story, like what he's been through to this point and what's kind of made him. So he just brings like this competitive edge, and if the defense isn't bringing it one day, like he's gonna let you know, and like gonna turn up that fire. So it just makes you have to bring it every day, and that's how it should be.
What can we expect from Steve Gregory?
Coach Greg, he's a great defensive mind. He's been in the program, and he's kind of brought like different like elements from his coaching career in the NFL. That's gonna help us be very successful in like third down situations and that kind of stuff. So he's a great guy to play for.
A bunch of depth is added to that D line. Mason Nelson, AB, all those kind of guys. What does that mean? When you get to the depths of the season.
I've spoken on this before, but to me, like physically, I felt like I was kind of burning out towards the end of the season last year. Just because it's not just taking those reps in games, but also in practice. That kind of adds up over time, and just having more depth. And everything can happen. Like somebody can get hurt, but then being able to send the next group of D linemen out there and not have any or like minimal drop off is like what we're looking for. So.
Issa, you and Linus, whenever you came into Vanderbilt, were thought to be pretty raw prospects, but have transformed into real staples in the defense. What has that progression been like for the both of you, and what do your relationships look like?
Love that guy. That's my German brother, freshman roommate. But yeah, I've actually had a talk with Coach Lee about that recently. But it was just like for us, it was like we had to bring it every day from the jump. Like we were behind, and if you start in that position, like you have to bring it every day to even be able to like hang with those guys. And I feel like we've both just like kept up that mentality of like bringing it every day and trying to get like 1% better each day. So I feel like that's something that has helped us over the years, like develop into the players we are now. So.
Coach Gregory mentioned how much more of a vocal leader, you've been on that defensive side this year. Where do you think you've grown? That's weighted.
Well, some of it is just having to step into that role. Like it was a role that needed to be filled on the D-line, and I felt like being vocal was not something I'm not as Diego, I'm not the loudest guy, I'm not the biggest smack talker on the field, but it's just something that kind of naturally happened, and I was happy to step into that role.
Diego, we were talking to Sad, and he said his next step that he wants to make this year is to have like big time runs, like chunk play runs busting through. Why do you think that he is capable and ready to do that?
I think I talked to Coach Beck about this too. I think we get better at having more explosive plays on the outside from a passing standpoint, and then that'll open up Seti to them to go into too high defense and Seti be able to crease it. But all our backs, people forget about AJ as well. Like he got hurt in the middle of last year, and so after that our production as an offense kind of fell off. AJ's someone who can run routes like a receiver. All our running backs can run routes, but AJ's someone who takes the top off of some receivers, and he's I don't know how many, I think he had 3 or 4 receiving touchdowns last year, but he's someone when he gets back in the offense, there's a set of plays for him to go in and score the football.
Last question.
You talked about on every media we can find about playing in February, and that's the goal. Objectively, why is that a realistic belief for you guys?
One, it starts off with your defense. Defense wins games, offense sells tickets. So I believe that we have, a defense to go do it. And then second off, we have too much firepower on offense to, I've talked to the guys before, and so we just have so much belief in ourselves, and that's all it takes is just belief. And, I think we got it this year.
Great.